The longer I'm in ministry, the more I realize that God just absolutely loves to surprise us. In fact, that's one of the main themes of the Bible. The Bible tells us that God does not do things the way the world expects him to do them. In fact, not the way we expect him to do them. And certainly one of the main ways in our lives that we've seen that. Kathy and I came to New York City 32 years ago, to start Redeemer, and we had no idea what would happen. We were hoping just to survive, as it were, just to gather a few people so that we could live in Christ together in Manhattan. But instead, God really blessed, and out of Redeemer came so many things, including Gospel and Life itself. Nobody, I certainly could not have expected anything like Gospel and Life 30 years ago or 20 years ago. Gospel and Life now takes the same gospel material, the same gospel message that changed so many lives in New York City, out to the world, out to the far corners of the world. Now, if you're in New Zealand, you think I'm in the far corner of the world in New York City, but if I think you're in the far corner of the world. But whether it's New York or China or New Zealand or South Africa, God is bringing this material through Gospel and Life to hundreds of thousands of people who are telling us that in many cases they're finding Christ for the first time, but also so many people saying, I understood the gospel with my head, but it was never a dynamic, transforming power in my life, but now it is. And so in all these ways, which we could never have imagined, this message is going to the far corners of the world. So at the very end of the year, I'd like you, those of you who have participated in one way or another in Gospel and Life, to consider doing three things. The first one is pray. Now, everybody says, please pray for our ministry, but that is not a trite statement. It's not an afterthought. It's not a perfunctory little thing that you always say. If there's one thing that Kathy and I learned this year, is prayer is to the soul what blood is to the body. Prayer is not just an add-on. There is no spiritual life. There is no life for a Christian without prayer. So please pray. Please pray for the ministry. It will change the ministry. It will change you. Secondly, please consider giving to Gospel and Life, the ministry. As you know, 2020 was one of the worst years we've had in so long across the whole world. And therefore, there's more spiritual searching going on, and it's going on online just because of the nature of the quarantines and the shutdowns and the lockdowns. And for us, in order to actually meet this strategic need, if you give to us, we're able to do more of it. And therefore, please take a look at the place on the website where you can give. Please go to gospelandlife.com/year-end. gospelandlife.com/year-end. And one more thing, please consider this. Live with hope. Kathy and I certainly have learned to do that in a new way. This is the year that I was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and I want you to know it's possible, no matter what you're facing, to live with tremendous hope, because the gospel promises you, as a gift of free grace, because of what Jesus Christ has done, that what's ahead of you, no matter what's ahead of you, it will end in resurrection, it will end in new heavens and new earth, it will end in heaven, and therefore live in hope. It can be done. Pray, consider giving, live in hope. Thank you so much.